Good morning, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today we have a 2016 Seat Leon Cooper. It's an EA888. We've got it in for a couple of services. This video specifically that you're watching is going to be about the VAQ, or the electronic limited slip diff, which is fitted to these. So we'd like to say thank you to our sponsors of the day today, which is us, JCR. Thank you. If you want to pop onto our website, on the web shop, you will be able to find all the service kits and everything that's applicable to the services that we've done in these videos for you. Right, back to the video. So on the Cooper 290, although it shares the same engine with the Golf R and the Audi S3, it doesn't run a four-wheel drive system. What it does is it has a electronic slip diff which sits just here in between the engine and the gearbox. Now, this works very similarly to how the Haldex unit works on the four-wheel drive vehicles, apart from on this one it allows oversteer and understeer on the front wheels because there's no four-wheel drive system. So you get the effect of a four-wheel drive car without having to carry the additional weight through the drivetrain to kind of carry a four-wheel drive prop and differential at the rear of it. So it's a really good system. It's what makes these cars a little bit more crazy than your, I think, like the standard Golf GTIs don't come unless it's with a club start sport with the electronic slip diff, and they just feel a little bit dead, whereas these are a little bit crazy. You go into a corner, you can actually understeer, you can oversteer, and there's a little bit of compensation, but it just gives you that feeling of the car's just a little bit looser to kind of drive, but you point and it still goes in the same direction, just all with the wheels spinning. So as I was saying, this is very, very similar to a Haldex unit that you will find in the four-wheel drive. It uses the same pump and a very similar controller as well. So what we will be doing, as we do on the Gen 5 Haldex, is we are going to be removing the pump on this one as well, because there is a strainer gauze in here, so they don't hold a filter like the Gen 4 or the Gen 2 or the Gen 1. These actually just literally have a strainer basket within the pump. So we're going to be taking the pump down, and then, as I say, we are going to be emptying the actual the diff at the front. Now the capacities of these are actually slightly different as well, so I was saying treat it like a Haldex, but these are actually a little bit less on the service fill. I think it's about 400ml that they actually take, whereas if you're looking at the Golf R's, you're looking at around about 700, 750 that they'll take. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to remove the fill plug. So the first thing that we're going to be removing is the fill plug, because whenever you're going to be filling something and it's got a drain and a fill plug, always go for the fill plug just to make sure that you can actually get it out. We've never seen these cause an issue because they're kind of made, I think, of aluminium, and they've just got a rubber seal on them. But we're going to loosen that one, crack that one loose first of all, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start emptying the oil from the under drain bolt, which is just underneath here, just behind the pump. So if you look from the subframe side, you'll be able to see that that's an 8mm Allen, that's in the central of that bolt. So I'm going to show you the new ones that we're going to put in, because we will put new ones in for the cost of them. So it's an 8mm Allen in there, that's how you get it out. So as I say, best thing to do whenever you're doing this job is remove the fill plug first, which I'm going to allow my trusty assistant to do, because he's going to get his long arm up there on me. It's a reasonably simple service. You don't need any special tools, or, well, I say special tools, but you don't really need anything that's that you shouldn't have in your garage. And if you don't, you can grab some stuff, I think, from any kind of motor factories will have something for you to kind of use. So for the drain and the fill plugs, you're going to need an 8mm Allen key, hex Allen, and then for the pump, to take the pump down, you're going to need a 10mm socket, and then to actually fill the oil up, you're going to need an upfill device to kind of get the oil up and back into the diff itself. So there are the tools that you're going to be using. So I'm going to start by removing the fill plug. And out she comes. So we know we can put that one back in. Well, not this one, but we know we can get one back in. Just going to come to the drain. Here, I'm going to crack it slightly loose, and before I crack it fully loose, probably the most important tool that you're going to need in this service to keep everything nice and clean is actually a good old bit of cardboard. There, and there we go. Now that we've got the oil draining, what we're going to do is we're going to get the pump out, which we'll do with these two 10mm sockets that are on the side. So there's the first one. Right. Out. Now, so now that we've got the ELSD drained, we've got the Haldex controller pump off, the electronic plug off. What we're going to do now is just going to split the pump away, and then that will release a little bit more oil, and then we're going to have a look and see what the filter gauze looks like. So this is actually really clean. When we have a look at them on the Gen 5 Haldexes, normally these come out very dirty, but this one's come out clean, so it would indicate that it has been serviced previously. The servicing is up to date. There is two little Torx bolts that sit either side of the strainer here. We're going to remove them, and then we're just going to give that strainer a little bit of a clean anyway. Even though it looks relatively clean, we're going to clean it down again, and then we're going to replace the O-rings on here and the pump bolts when we put it back in. And make sure that it makes a good seal. Now that we've got the pump housing down, as I say, we treat these like they are like a normal Haldex. So we're going to clean out the pump housing in here and just make sure that there's no crud and debris that it's been storing or holding inside, and make sure that's nice and clean, and that the mating surface when we put it back is nice and clean, so it goes straight back on and makes a nice seal. So now that we've emptied all the oil out of the LSD, what we're going to do, the first one that we're going to put back in is the drain bolt. So they have a rubber seal on the bottom of them. You'll feel it bite when it goes into seal. You don't have to go crazy with these. I'll probably say about 10-15 newton meters. I can't think very much. Don't know what newton meter settings are. Yeah, and that's that one in. My trusty assistant, not Debbie McGee, has cleaned up my pump. Got some nice new seals on. So now that we've got the pump gauze cleaned, we've got some new seals on, we're going to slot this one back in to where it came out. And you'll feel it just make a seal, and you can see that it's flat there, so it's mated in properly. So with the pump successfully installed, it's not really caused that much mess. I'm going to plug it back in now, and we're ready to fill. So for those purists out there, Statoil make the Haldex coupling oil, but they make it for both Fevi, who sell it in this bottle, and then VW, who sell it in this bottle. It's the same oil, it comes from the same factory. One's a little bit cheaper, well, quite a lot cheaper. So we'll get the Fevi ones in. If you get some service packs off us, you will get these, but don't fear, there's nothing wrong with having this. This is the same oil, comes from the same factory, made by the same company. So we're going to need around about 400 mil. It says. So we've got 200 in this one. And we're going to now. So we're going to proceed to fill the electronic diff. So that's the first 200 mil going in. Yeah, so this works on an overflow. Once this is full, it will start to overflow and drip back down the fill hole. And there we go. So that is the E-diff full of the oil. What we're going to do is we're going to go to diagnostics. I'm just going to get cleaned up a little bit. We're going to drop the car down. We're going to pop in the car. We use VCDS. So what we're going to do is we're going to actuate the Haldex pump and just make sure that that's happy and it's all working the way that it should be. Now that we've filled the diff with the oil, what we're going to do is we're just going to actuate the clutch pump and just make sure that that's not having any problems. We've got you on screen record so you can see what options we're going to choose on VCDS. So we're going to go to set control module. From recollection, I think it's 32, which is on the differential locks. I think on these, because they're like a Gen 5, I'm going to have the vehicle started. So I'm going to start the vehicle so that we can get that done. Right, okay. So now that we're in here, what we're going to do is we're going to do basic settings. I'm going to reset the adaptation values because we have just done the service. So we're going to go and readapt them, and that's finished correctly. So I'm just going to go done to go back again, and then I'm going to go back in again on the basic settings, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the pump motor setting there. Once you've selected it, click to go, and then whilst this is running you will hear, or you should hear, an audible noise coming from the pump itself to let you know that it's actually actuating. I can hear that high-pitched whine, and then we can hear it. So it makes an audible high-pitched kind of whining noise. It will continue to do this probably for about 30-45 seconds. It will let you know when it's finished. On the screen it will say that it's done and it's finished correctly, and that's finished correctly. So what we're going to do now is, because the pump will have had a void in there because we've taken it down, and obviously that has a little bit of oil, is I'm just going to undo the fill cap again. I'm going to give it a second fill just to make sure that it's happy with the amount of oil that's in there. I know on the Gen 5s they probably sometimes take another 25 to 50 mil. I've not really seen these take too much more after, because they're quite a small box anyway. However, just to make sure that we've got the right amount of oil, Haldex oil in there or differential oil in there, what we're going to do is we're going to just perform that second fill. So I'm not going to put very much in there because it probably won't take much. It'll probably be maybe 10-20 mil, but we'll just make sure that it's got enough oil, because too little is not enough for these. That took actually around about 50 mil, maybe more, of additional oil. So always make sure that once you've actuated the clutch pump, that you go in and you fill it again, because there will be a void that's in there, as I say, and you've just seen that now. That obviously you need to make sure that you perform that second fill. That goes with all the Haldexes, bar I think the Gen 1, which is a straight, literally you put it straight up, you've got to be really quick. But this, on all of the other ones, because they work on a fill and a drain plug, make sure that you perform the second fill once you've done the adaptations and the actuation of the clutch pump, because this is what happens, there isn't enough oil in there. But on that note, that actually brings us to the end of our video. So that's how to perform a service on the VAQ ELSD. If you don't want to do it yourself, obviously, and you've got a Cupra or a GTI Club Sport, get it down to ourselves and we'll look after you. If you are wanting to have a crack at this yourself, we do full service pack. I think Aidan's going to make sure that that's all up to date with the correct prices on there. and then if you just follow the step-by-step guides that we've given you on our website, and that you've actually obviously seen us physically do it today, and like and subscribe, guys. Thanks very much for watching.